Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your buttonhole with a regular presser foot. To make buttonholes, you need embroidery thread, and I like to use embroidery thread because it gives the buttonhole a shiny finish at the top, so this goes as your main thread on the top. Then you would need regular thread in your bobbin. As you can see, I have some regular thread in the matching color in my bobbin. You'd also need your ruler so that you can take measurements of the button and put the measurements on your outfit. You'd also need your seam ripper, and the seam ripper is used to cut the slit through the buttonhole when you are done. You need your pair of scissors or a pair of snips. You will need your fabric marker, however I'll be using a biro so that you can see clearly in this case. You'd also need your button, and your button is basically needed so that you can take the dimensions of the widest area of your button and then put this on your fabric. You'd need your footable iron-on interfacing, and I don't know if you can see, however one side of this is shiny and that's the side that is iron-on, that's the side that has the gum that you iron on onto your fabric. And now you need your outfit. However, I'm going to be using this small piece of fabric that I have here. So I've gone ahead to iron on my interfacing onto my fabric, and this basically just acts as a stabilizer to keep my fabric in place while sewing. Afterwards, I went ahead to fold my fabric into two and just pin it at the sides to get it ready for the buttonholes. Depending on what kind of button you have, take the measurement of the widest part of the button. In this case, the black button measures 1 inch in diameter, while the white button measures 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Go ahead and mark a capital I on your fabric as shown, making sure the vertical part of the I is at least 1/4 of an inch longer than the button diameter. So in this case, the vertical part measures 1 inch 1/4, while the button measures just 1 inch. I repeat the same thing for the second button, making sure the vertical part of the I is longer than the button so that the button can go in and out freely. Moving over to the sewing machine, test out the zigzag function of your sewing machine at different stitch widths. With my stitch width regulator at 2, I went ahead to try out the different zigzag function, and I put my machine zigzag function at 1, and that's what it looks like. At 2 it looks like that, at 3 it looks like that, and at 4 it looks like that, and as you can see it gets wider. So I went ahead to change the stitch width function to 0, and then it gave me a much tighter stitch, as you can see down below. And this is what it looks like with the zigzag at 2 and the stitch width at 0, and then the zigzag at 4 and the stitch width at 0. To start sewing, I go ahead and place my stitch width regulator in between 0 and 1, and then lock that into place so that it doesn't move while sewing. I also place the zigzag function at 1 so that I can sew with the tiniest zigzag stitch, and then I go ahead to sew my fabric as shown. You want to sew a rectangle starting at the very top of your capital I and then sew all the way down. It's important to mention that every time you need to turn your fabric, your needle must be in the fabric, and then go ahead and lift the presser foot lifter, turn your fabric, and then continue sewing as shown. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to go ahead and sew your zigzag into a rectangle, and then you want to make sure you lock your stitches at the end. So after sewing the first buttonhole, this is what it looks like, and as you can see the stitches are really thin, and that's because I had my zigzag function on 1. So I'm going ahead to move it to 2, and then I'm going to make another buttonhole right by the side so that you can compare the sizes of the zigzag function. So you want to go ahead and sew a rectangle starting with a vertical line, and then you want to do a very short horizontal line, making sure your needle is in your fabric while turning, and then you want to go ahead and finish up the rectangle as shown. So this is what the buttonhole looks like, and when I flip it over, this is what the back looks like. I'm going to do another one just right by the side, and I'm going to be using my zigzag function at 3 just to have a wider buttonhole. So as you can see, sewing with the zigzag at 3 gives me a wider zigzag stitch, and I think the buttonhole looks much better with the zigzag set at 3. I personally like the result of this, and I always tend to go with my zigzag at 3. So with my zigzag still set at 3, I'm going to go ahead and do the buttonhole for the white button, which is slightly smaller than the one we've just finished. After finishing the last buttonhole, this is what it looks like. The next thing to do is to slice the buttonhole open using a seam ripper. So go ahead and puncture the buttonhole as shown and then slice it open with the blade in the seam ripper. You want to check that your button fits into the hole, and then you want to trim off all the fraying edges of the buttonhole like so. You need to be careful while opening it up with a seam ripper so you don't snag or cut any thread as shown. I've accidentally cut mine, so you need to be extra careful because I'll have to do that again. If not, it's going to keep unraveling. So I'm going ahead to repeat the same thing by slicing open the buttonhole at the top, making sure not to cut any of the stitches so that I don't have my buttonhole unraveling. Alright guys, we've come to the very end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was worth your while. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to leave your comments, suggestions and feedback in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss out on the awesome content that I have for you. Thank you once again for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!